Hello everyone, can you all hear me in the chat? Everyone in the chat, can you all hear me?
Testing 1, 2, 3, 3, 3, 3.
Testing, 1, 2. Let's see.
Let's see what.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Hello everyone! How are we all doing? Hello, how is everyone?
Greetings, greetings, greetings.
My name's Iron Cosplay and this is Becosplay! Everyone say hi to Becosplay. I love Becosplay.
Hey guys, it's 6 o'clock in the morning, and well, actually not even 6 o'clock in the morning just yet, but it's early, and I've been up since 4:30 waiting for this stream to start.
Oh no! It is 9 p.m. here. I'm just hoping that everything's running well. We had some hiccups at the beginning, like right at the very beginning before I even actually started talking on the stream. I was just like, oh shit, stuff's gone wrong. It's like, but yeah, so I think, can I get an okay from Ranger of Krieg? Can you hear me and Terry? Because Ranger of Krieg is one of my testy people. He tests things for me. Hello.
I've got audio coming through my speakers from the...
That's a yes then. There we go. Oh, I love it.
Hi y'all. So,
awesome.
All right, let's kick this into gear. What do you want? What are we going to talk about today?
We have a Q&A and a prop display because why not? Let's show people props and stuff. Why not? Like for example, I'm going to don my pirate hat. You've got a finger and I've got a pirate hat. This pirate hat I legit made out of scrap foam from a project that I
have a bigger
finished.
finger too.
Whoa, that's the big boy one. Do you grease those at all?
Yeah, actually, I do use a silicone lube on them.
I got you. Well, I took to Instagram and asked for people for questions, and I got 2 sheets of questions. Some of them are hilarious, some of them are actually funny, and some of them are actual questions. So yay. So.
All right. I'll play.
So what I'll do, if you want, I'll ask them. You answer first, and then I'll answer. Since you're my guest, I shall let you go first.
Okay.
Right. So, this is a good straight off the bat. We got a hell of a question straight off the bat. How to get good?
How to get good?
How to get good?
How to get good? Okay.
Yeah, how to get good?
How to get good? Cut shitloads of foam.
Yeah.
Sharpen your knife and sharpen your knife and sharpen your knife and cut shitloads of foam.
And cut tons of foam. Yeah, that's pretty much.
Glue lots of edges and make sure to glue it all the way to the edge. The more you build, the better you get.
Well,
that's what it comes down to. So, I want to just chime in here and let everybody know that anyone who's got Armorsmith Designer, check your updates. There is a massive update right now, which allows you to alter the pattern and create vector files for laser cutting and things and make curves.
Laser cutter!
So I've been playing around with it and working with Randy Kavanagh to try and bug fix a few of the problems over the last 24 hours, and it's fantastic. It's beautiful. So anyway, okay, getting back to get good.
But yeah, how to get good? Mine would be just keep practicing. Make stuff. Just keep making stuff. Hold on.
Because we all start by sucking. Believe
Literally,
me, we all suck at this stuff when we start.
I made this, and this is not good. This is not good at all. I mean,
ew! Look how hideous that is. I'm just kidding.
For what it was back in the day, like this is the first gun I ever made, and it's a bolter. It's fucking god awful. This is awful, but it's tough as hell because I can yeet this and it doesn't break. It's amazing. But I made this 5 years ago, and it's just, you know, it's a really old bolter I made. But now, obviously, I make stuff like that, which is much better, much cleaner,
Because
much nicer.
you have a laser.
A laser and a bandsaw.
All right, next question. Let's move on to the next question. What do we got?
Okay, so I think you're going to like this one too. You're going to like all these questions. These are great questions. How tall are you in and out of your power armor? So with you,
Now
I
here's
guess
the
we'll
kicker:
do,
is which power armor?
yeah, I guess we'll do your standard one first because that's the first one you did. Then we'll do the Terminator because that's the second one you did. So
out of armor, I'm 5'6". In armor, I'm about 7'5". And that's in the Marine.
and then
In the Terminator, I'm about 10'4".
Nice, chunky boy.
Donkey boy.
Me-
Most of it's hutch over the top of you, though. So
Well, yeah, that's the
your head-
thing. You got your head is there. I can see the head above your head now.
Yeah, he's squat down right now. As
like-
always, you know, in
like
my
that.
office, I have to
Just squat.
shrink him down and jam him together, sort of squash him up. A
Oh,
few
Lord,
people
he comes-
thought about actually having him sitting down, but he takes too much area up then.
Oh man. Right. Me, I'm 6'2". When I'm
You
not
tall bastard.
when I'm not in power armor, and when I'm in my power armor, I'm 7'1", 7'2", something like that, because I'm on platforms and not stilts. I still have to duck when I go through doors. Not all of them. Lifts are also fun. But yeah, I'm 6'2". I'm about 7'1" in my suit. In the Grey Knight, on the other hand, I'm pushing for 8 foot if I can. If I can push for about 8 foot tall, because it's such a big thing. Like, I want to see if I can push for 8 feet. That's going to be a challenge enough with these UK conventions in these small con halls and stuff, and the doors are tiny, so 8 foot's going to be a challenge. But I hope Harry doesn't get all nervous right now in the chat, like, hey, 8 foot tall? Why? Because Harry is Ranger of Creed Cosplay, and he's my spotter. He is my spotter, and he is an absolute legend, and I love the man. He helps me a lot.
Sorry, I just had to chime in, and Angelus has put up on the chat. It's like, you know, you should see the progress in the redacted.
Oh, in the redacted.
His redacted project.
He's confirmed that it is a Warhammer-based cosplay, but refuses to tell me what it is, and it's so annoying because I want to know what
It's
it
a
is.
sister of silence.
Oh, Ranger of Creed Cosplay foams at the mouth with rage because of my 8 foot tall Terminator that's coming. So that's going to be fun. Right, okay. Question 3 is, what is your dream cosplay? What is your dream cosplay?
Ooh.
Yeah, I had to think about this one.
Ooh. Now, are we sticking with a Warhammer theme at this point?
No.
Or
Cosplay
are we
in general,
transgressing?
cosplay as a whole, cosplay as a theme, whatever. Because mine isn't. Because if I'd say mine was Warhammer based, it isn't. I've already got 2 suits now. I got one I built and one I'm fixing up. So I'm pretty happy with my Warhammer related side of things. But
Well, let's. I guess it used to be. This is before I got into Warhammer, obviously, and Warhammer cosplay. Because actually, I'm not into Warhammer itself. I'm just into Warhammer cosplay. But before that, I believe it was.
Unity Paints has just raided me with a party of 8 people.
Oh, Unity Paints, thank you very much.
Unity Paints.
Welcome, guys. Welcome.
I
welcome.
love
We're
Uni-
talking about cosplay.
Oh my god! I was
yeah.
actually in Unity Paint's stream earlier today, just chatting away about stuff, and we got into really old kids TV shows back when we were kids, and we made ourselves seem really old. So it was like, yes. But I'm so happy. Thank you so much for the raid. That's like the first raid I've ever had. So yay! I'm super happy.
No one ever raids me. Anyway,
happy.
so yeah, let's dream cosplay. My dream cosplay originally was a Gundam.
Ooh, Gundam.
So, but that now moved to a Primaris Aggressor,
Oh yeah, Primaris.
which I'm currently in the process of making.
I wasn't sure whether you were gonna say, so I thought I'd keep it hush hush.
Oh yeah. Knife has not touched foam yet. I'm still in the planning and patterning phase, because unlike a lot of Marines and things like that, there's no patterns out there yet. So I had to commission a guy to make the 3D model, because I suck at modeling. And so, it took him about nearly 3 months to get the model done, because it's all broken up into parts, ready to pattern. But at the moment, it's way too complicated. So there's too many polygons and stuff to turn it into a Pepakura pattern. It's almost impossible.
It's too janky.
So
it's too janky to use.
It's way too janky. The file is 1.2 gig, so it's huge. So I've got to reduce the polys and all the rest of it and bring it right down. Take it across into Blender. Move all the lines and bits around, make it functional. Take it out of Blender, put it into Pepakura, or Armorsmith in this case. And then from there, I will start breaking it down and turning it into patterns. Now, and then obviously, you only work with your base pattern. You don't step up and put all your detail crap on there. That's just done by eye usually. But yeah, I hope to have this Primaris Aggressor on the go and ready for, let's say, November. I'd say.
That's gonna be sick. I can't wait to see.
But one of the key things is I'm going to be mixing this soon.
I just got a follow. Thank you so much for the follow.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I like that. All the stuff's
yes,
working. All the stuff I tested is working.
Mod Hail, that is a 10-foot high, even though it's squashed down, that's a 10-foot high Terminator, and that's also the Celestine without the wings. The wings are upstairs, so it's 14.5-foot expandable wings on a remote control.
Chunky wings.
Fully feathered wings. So that's my wife's costume. And the Guardsman costume from the movie Short Guardsman is just sitting over on the side over there, which I can drag out if you really, really want. And the Marine is actually rehoused at the moment down at Bris Vegas Comics as a bit of a display, because I needed the room. I was running out of space. So anyway, getting back to Dream Cosplay. Yes. So my dream cosplay is to really go to town on this Aggressor, and introduce a lot of the mechanics and I suppose some structure that I used for the Terminator, and also crossed over with what I did with the Marine, so that I've got massive ease of movement, comfortable suit, but I'm also going to try and make it so it's a lot easier to get in and out of.
Well, I mean, the getting in and out of part, I mean, I've made mine as easy as I can, but I still need help. I mean, with any Space Marine, really, except for like human scale ones, I guess, you still need a hand getting into it. And, again, Harry is my man. He's the guy who helps me get in and out of mine.
2 thumbs up for Harry. Harry's the man.
Oh, wow, look at that. Lynette Cosplay is now hosting us.
Oh, Lynette Cosplay, thank you. Thank you very much.
This stream cannot get any better. This is just the best. I've been raided and I've been hosted and I've got a bunch of followers. This is amazing.
All right, well, we'll take the live questions first. All right.
Yeah, I know, right?
Lynette Cosplay, I am currently sitting in my office. This is most of my work office. As you can see, Cosplay has completely taken over the entire thing. Also, the sewing room is now upstairs in one of the other bedrooms. It's taken over that entirely as well.
There we go. I've just had to move
and it's getting worse. As the suits get bigger, we start running out of room, and I'm going to have to rehouse myself soon.
Man alive. I'm not able to actually say thanks to whoever's following me, because my follower thing was behind the screen, and also I thought it comes up in chat, so it doesn't actually come up in chat, which kind of like, damn, I thought it comes up in chat, tells you if someone's followed you.
There you go. That's my workspace there. Where I just sort of work on the floor because I'm running out of room.
Work on the floor? No, you need a table. This is what I work on. I work on my table. I love my table. Gotta have multiple tables. Tables are the best. What you call it? Dream Cosplay. Me personally,
Iron Warrior cosplay.
I've not always wanted to, but ever since I saw him do it, I've always wanted to do it, and I'm gonna consider it my dream cosplay because I mean I've got a Space Marine and I've got a Terminator now. I was given the Terminator, so it's like, but I'm gonna say mine is.
Well, hang on. He's a Grey Knight. He's not exactly a real Terminator.
Well, he's a Grey Knight Terminator. That's literally what it's a Grey Knight Terminator. But,
I'm teasing.
Me personally, I want to go for massive Totoro. Because Adam Savage built one, and I fell in love. And I love Totoro anyway, Studio Ghibli. I love it. And I just really want a Totoro. I've already got the
what's a Totoro?
Totoro? Oh, no. Totoro is, like, the best. Okay. Could someone in chat.
That is a vague explanation.
Get a Google image. Get a Google image of Totoro. He's a big, grey, fluffy awesomeness is what he is. And I can't, it's really hard to explain.
All right.
You got to kind of watch the Studio Ghibli movie, My Neighbor Totoro. It's like, it's just such the best thing. And,
okay. Yeah. Big, fluffy, rabbity thing.
Big, fluffy, rabbity thing with a massive
Why in the
mouth.
hell?
It's the coolest thing.
Come join me on Warhamster then. You make a rabbit head. I'll make the hamster head.
Warhamster.
So we'll have fluffy heads and actual marine costumes. How's that?
Well, this Totoro is going to be like 6 foot round and about 8 foot tall, which is going to be amazing. And he's going to be completely made of fluff, and I can't wait. There's so much. There's so much to do. I love it. There's so much going on in the chat right now. I'm trying to keep up as best I can. Like, it's my first stream, and I'm already like can't keep up with the chat. I love it.
There's a link down there.
There is a link.
Oh, yep. Okay. Yeah, that's that. And how in the hell is he sitting on that branch? Seriously?
Oh, the trees in anime are super strong. So that's my dream cosplay. But we have our next question, which is this is gonna be quite a good one. How does it feel inside the power armor, physically and emotionally? Emotionally, I love it.
Is that emotionally or demotionally?
That's emotionally. That's like how does emotions feel when you're inside it?
I'll go with the demotionally because it's demeaning. It's just destroying. Yes. It's soul destroying to be in armor, especially when your fans fail.
Lynette Cosplay just said she'd love to do a no face with me if I do Totoro, and I absolutely can say yes. I want a no face to walk around with me from Spirited Away. Spirited Away is the best, but right, okay, I need to stop, otherwise I'm gonna get all excited.
You're getting carried away here.
I love this. This is the best.
That's the idea of a stream, is to get carried away.
Yeah, why not? Why not? This is gonna be. I mean, we're only 19 minutes in, so I'm over the moon already.
So let's talk about being physically inside power armor. Okay, starting off originally when I built the Marine, I had the plaster of stilts inside, and I replaced the straps already with better straps and Velcro. But one thing I learned very, very early was that the more stability and I suppose solidity you've got on your stilts and on your boots, the less you're fighting it. So it's kind of like perfect example for the normal person is if you've got flip-flops on, so thongs.
You call them thongs.
We call them thongs. We're not wearing underwear on our feet, but or pluggers, as Northern Australians call them. Busted a plugger.
Plugger. I've never heard of a plugger.
Yeah, you got to. It's an Aussie slang. It's a plugger. But anyway, so you got your flip-flops on, and let's say you're flopping along through sand or whatever the case is, and it's like really difficult to walk. It starts hurting your legs after a while and that sort of thing. So or having loose boots or anything like that, you start to struggle and fight on it. And you'll find that when you're on stilts or on any type of platforms and your boots are loose at all, you're going to be fighting the rest of it. So it's got to be really, really tight. And so I've added rollerblade boots to mine to increase the stability. And that I went from, averaging 4 hours of comfortable walking around after I'd done all my mods and bits to 8 hours without a problem. So I literally doubled the time I could be in there, and my stability and control was exponentially better. So, which means my comfort level, physical comfort level, was way up there compared to what it would be normally. Now, your physical comfort level in a big suit is almost non-existent because you've got stuff pressing down on your shoulders. You've got legs that are a lot heavier than normal. You are not walking normally because you're actually having to step outwards and stride because you've got these big fat ass legs.
You got to walk like a cowboy, baby. We got to walk.
Oh
like
yeah,
a
you got to walk
cowboy,
like
baby.
you're well hung. It's like
well hung.
so, and your arms are out here, and it's you've got everything going on to make sure that you're not going to be rubbing things against other things or squashing anything down. So you're constantly holding stuff out. So the idea is to make your suit as light as possible.
Did you see the chat?
Or
walk normal then, like.
Walk normal then, and
I'm not crushing my plums just to walk normally.
So and in the Terminator back here, it's again worse because he's even wider.
In that thing.
Now I'm lucky enough that I've set him up so that all his arms and everything, the whole upper body is attached to a full back harness.
Nice.
A solid back harness. So it distributes the weight across my entire body. So I can let go of the hands, bring my arms inside the chest and fold them and be standing there getting photos taken and stuff like that. And it's like, move your arms. Hang on a second.
Let me just put my arms in and then just like.
But to give you an idea, my hands are so far out and down that the tip of my fingers comes to the elbows.
That's the way. That's so big. It's so huge.
And that's why I needed all the new type of articulation for things
for
because
the fingers
the old,
and everything. Yeah.
The old rubber band and drawstring style just didn't cut it. So now we got proper articulation going on, which I can then mechanize as well if I need to. But again, fans. And we're not talking about the ones with cameras. We're talking about,
or in my case, no fans.
But I've got a few fans in the body of the Terminator, and I've got a big body fan in the Marine. And on both occasions where it was most important, that body fan failed. So when I did the walk at the last convention in the Terminator.
Oh yeah, you told me this.
Like literally just because there's 12 volt fans in there, and I've got a 5 volt to 12 volt converter in there, and I'm climbing around inside the chest trying to get everything sorted out, and somehow I've tripped or just run my hand down and busted the plug, not the wire, but the plug.
Ouch.
For the 5 volt to 12 volt converter, which meant all the fans and the lights, the main lights and stuff, just didn't work. Nothing. I was so disheartened. I mean, literally, I was just like, "Oh, just somebody kill me now!"
Man.
All right, Dovering, across to you.
I wish I'd been there with like a repair kit. I carry such a ridiculous repair kit with me. Like Harry saw my new repair kit, and he's just like, "It's just a giant red toolbox," and it's like this, and it's got my entire life in it, like all my.
Oh no! Like I had every tool under the sun, every tool. Except another one of those plugs.
Oh man, alive! That's agony. What? So, hold on. What? So the
okay. Mod Hale has asked, have I investigated the cooling vests? Yes, I have in depth. Problem is, they last around 45 minutes to an hour, and then they warm up, and it's ridiculous. So when you're looking at spending an inordinate amount of time in costume, like upwards of 4 or 5 hours or so, you're best off running with the simplest option, which is, I've got a USB desk fan in the middle of my back when I'm in the Marine, and then I've got 12 volt fans in the Terminator, which I'll probably add a couple of extra little ones to circulate a bit more air. But all you need is air circulating. You don't need massive cooling and ventilation, because when you're in an air-conditioned environment, you just need that air coming in and circulating around, which will help to cool you massively. And make sure your head's nice and cool as well. Make sure you got plenty of fans in the helmet.
Or you could just go what I've done and just don't, because I've gone a bit. I mean, some people are like, "Oh, you should definitely have fans." I'm not gonna lie. I've done 3 years now, pushing 4 years without a single fan. What I have instead is a Harry and a lot of water. And funny thing, Lynette Cosplay asked, "How much water do you guys drink when you're in armor?" I drink a metric ton of water. I drink so much water. It's crazy.
I actually drink next to none. Actually, no, water, probably none.
I hydrate so much. The other question I get asked a lot is, how do you pee in that thing? And I'm like, I don't. You don't have to pee when you're sweating all of your liquids out of your...
No. How do you pee?
Oh, yeah. just like, pop your helmet off. But no, I just tell them, like, you sweat so much, your body dehydrates and doesn't want to pee, so you just don't have the urge to need to go to the bathroom. It's just meh. But hardcore mode, no fans. Hell yeah.
No fans, no fans.
Normally, if I get super hot, I just walk outside the con and then just hold my arms up, and then the wind just blows over and vents everything. And
it's the other way around in Australia. We actually walk into the con to cool down.
Oh, God, yeah.
So, because you go outside and all of a sudden the hot wind's blowing, everything else is going on, and you start turning into a ball of sweat.
You guys live in an oven. I forget about that.
Yeah.
Well,
there you
go. Ranger of Krieg, when he's in his full Krieg cosplay, he actually, when he opens his coat, he has 2 really big military canteens like on the side of his hips that he just like pulls out and like flips around in his hands and then just like gives one to me, and I'm like, thanks buddy, we'll just drink it.
Well, I mean, I sweat like crazy, but I top it up with about 3 pints of beer when I'm done.
You gotta drink when you're in your suit. I mean, Sci-Fi Weekender, everyone's seen the video of the Dancing Space Marines with me and David Roth. We are wankered when we're in our Space Marine. Completely brick-faced. I love it. That's only at Sci-Fi Weekender, though. Only convention I've ever properly drunk at is Sci-Fi Weekender all 3 times. You just get wankered at Sci-Fi Weekender. It's a 4-day event, and you're on site all the time, so you can just drink as much as you want. Every other con I go to, it's different. You can't drink so much because I usually drive, so it's like you can't get as drunk as you want. But you know, but yeah, what you call it? How does it feel inside the armor, physically and emotionally? For me, physically, perfectly fine. It can get a bit hot. Like, it can get a bit moist at times. I know a lot of people love that word. There was a cat behind you a second ago, by the way.
Yeah, that was probably that's Missy. She's just come back in looking for a chair.
But as for emotionally, I when I've got my helmet on, hold on. I might as well just show you. I've got everything here. I bought a bunch of props down with me, including my lid. When I got my helmet on like this, and I'm walking around a con, inside I'm like this. I'm like. People see the helmet and they're like, "Oh my god, it's so terrifying." Inside, I'm like really happy all the time because it's just the best. And you just like the funniest one is every time a photographer goes cheese, I go, "Oh, can you take that one again?" I blinked and I've got my helmet on, and they just like, "Oh, come on, man." But my favorite one is I've actually had photographers go, "Oh, okay," and take another one. I'm like, no, I'm wearing a helmet. It was a joke.
All right. How many times, and be honest, how many times have you, when somebody's been taking a photo of you, you got your helmet on and they go, smile, and you smile?
Every single time. There's not a time, there's not a single time I have not been like this massive grin, just beaming with happiness inside. As soon as I get in it and like Harry plugs me all in and gets the tube sorted and then plugs it, then as soon as we put the arms on, I'm like, okay, Harry, let's do this. And he pops the helmet on, pops his Krieg mask on, pops his hat on, and then off we go. That is the best feeling, especially with the Mega Stomp just blasting out my ass, just going.
I hate you for that. You've got a Mega Stomp and I don't.
Oh, I tell you what, that Mega Stomp is my baby. I love it. It is like the best thing in the world. Ranger of Krieg, no capes. Nah, I've got a cape. I love my cape.
No capes.
My cape's amazing.
All right. Next question. Let's move. Okay, hang on. We were going to do the emotionally thing because we did the physically.
I've done emotionally. You haven't done emotionally yet.
I haven't done emotionally. Emotionally in costume, pure joy absolute agony. It's kind of like the worst BDSM session you've ever come across that you walk out with a smile on your face.
or the best BDSM session if you're into that,
That too. Depends on your masochism level.
Yeah, you're just walking around in your suit and you're like, oh, this is so painful. It is a good pain.
Oh, look, I mean, until I got the harness set up for the Terminator, obviously I need to cut that across into the Marine as well. But, your shoulders hurt so much that all you want to do is cry. And you're still in armor and still tromping around and still entertaining the crap out of people. Your legs are killing. Your hips are just about to collapse. But nope, you've got that stride going. You're powering through the crowds because obviously they're parting like the Red Sea. When you're out of costume, you're bumping into everybody, all this sort of stuff. When you're in costume, everyone gets the hell out of your road, which is great. And that's one of the best feelings ever. Plus, you can walk right up to the signing tables past everybody and past all the security because no one wants to stop you.
The amount of I walked into 2 conventions where I've been a cosplay guest there, but I don't have my pass or anything on me, and I've just walked past them. Harry's just gone up, opened the door, and I've just walked in, and they're like, yeah, okay. Just like, in you go. I'm not going to fucking stop.
In you go. After you.
Turns out I missed a question from Lynette Cosplay. Sorry about that. I'm really bad at keeping the track of the chat. Did you 3D print the custom articulation on your fingers? No, I didn't. My friend Dave Damon did. He is an absolute legend. He 3D printed those for me, and he put the palm and the body together for me. I've had to re-drill and modify the joints of the fingers, but they work so well. I absolutely love the fact that they're so lightweight that they can just hang there, and I can just leave them like sort of naturally hanging. It's the best. I would link him, but I have no way of doing that on here because I'm not on Facebook on this rig. But if you want a link to his page, just let me know on Facebook, and I will chuck that over to you. But they are. I love my Power Fist. I would get it out, but it's in its big ass crate, and it's like 5 pieces that I put together. It's like bag of that. But it is the best. I absolutely love it. But yeah, I know Terry's got really cool like articulating fingers, but it's just I don't know. There's something about the ones that I've got there that are just the fact that they just hang like that, and it's just there's just something about that. Also, Circle Game. Who doesn't love Circle Game? A convention posted. I had 3 pictures, and it's been edited. It's one photo that's been edited 3 times, and I posted all 3 up, thinking, these are going to be funny. Every con I did that year used the picture of me stood up doing the Circle Game with my Power Fist, and every comment you see is just like, he got us, god damn it. It's just like, haha. But like it's the best. Like I love the Circle Game. You do the circle below your waist, you punch someone in the arm, but with a Power Fist.
Yeah, it's great, except until you get massacred online like I did because some moron turned around and said it's now the white supremacist symbol.
Yeah, no, the white power is the other way around. But I'm not doing that. But no, that's Circle Game. That's just the Circle Game that we've done for years in school. You do that like below your waist. I know,
but no. That's now become the white power symbol.
That's insane. That is just
which I think is complete bullshit. By the way, I mean, come on, somebody online that says, "Oh my God, the white power's using that," and then all of a sudden the entire rest of social media picks it up and runs with it. Morons.
Question 5 of 14 questions. What is the armor made of, and how much does it weigh? We'll do the same. Start off with your normal Marine, and then your Baracus.
Okay, so it's made of EVA foam and appropriate other bits and pieces. Now, the legs are a bit more complicated, or boots, I should say. We'll go into that at a later date. But he weighs around about 23 kilos. So in pounds, that's 50 pound, give or take. And then the Terminator is 48.4 kilos, which is around 90, about 90 pound.
Same here.
All made out of EVA foam and laser cut ABS, laser etched foam, but it's mostly EVA foam, so 98% EVA foam.
Sorry, I keep missing questions. I feel so bad. What is the best thing you've invested in your builds that you've never realized you needed before but couldn't live without?
Helpers.
Yeah, get yourself a Kriegi boy. Get yourself a Kriegi boy. Get yourself a handsome Kriegi boy to help you out with getting in and out of your suit. Me personally, what have I invested in? A van. That's a van. I needed a van so bad. I got a van. It's a little van, but I can cram everything in Tetris-wise. But
so yes, it's a two-part answer. It's get yourself a Harry and also a van because yeah. So helpers are invaluable across the board because even if they not help, like even if they just help you into your armor or consequently hang out with you and keep the crowds away, they are absolutely invaluable. And I praise mine to death. It's like I put out a call when I took the Terminator down to Supernova at the Gold Coast because I didn't actually have any helpers. It was just me, myself and my wife, and she was in her armor, so she couldn't really help me get suited up. And it's not a one-person job. It's 3 people are required to suit me up. So I put a call out. About 25 people turned up. It was amazing. There were people everywhere, just like, I'll just hold this, and we had little production lines, parts moving from hands to hands. It was amazing.
Hello, everyone in the chat. More people have joined. I think more people have joined. When Harry met Dovey, yeah, okay. Please make that into a film/cosplay short. Oh my God. Oh God.
So, okay, next question, what were we up to?
Yeah, so my Space Marine, again, made out of EVA foam with some aluminium parts and some 3D printed parts. My Iron Warrior weighs 31 kilo. We weighed it the other day, and...
Yeebas, that's heavy.
The Iron Warrior, the Grey Knight even, sorry, I have no idea. But he's going to weigh more, because there's more of him, but he's going to weigh more. But yeah, that's my side of things. Right, next question. Let's see. I am folding the paper so that I don't lose track of where we are. Oh, this one. I love this one. Who pushes you to be the best you can be when making your cosplays? Who are you pointing at?
You.
Me? Oh, me? Oh, you should be like that.
Hang on. Sorry. On my screen, you're over this side.
You were like that. I was like, who? Oh, dude. Just, my answer to that question, I'd have to sit down here during a live stream with a list of
the list is long.
I have such a long list of people. It's always people. It's all people. And mostly it's my friends, like my close friends, like you, Harry, Desi.
Yeah, it's other cosplayers. It's people that we spend a lot of time with. There's even in the chat right now, like Ranger of Krieg. We've got Dragonheart. Dragonheart there is, she pushes and pushes and pushes. Love her to death. Drives me insane sometimes.
Yeah.
Angelus, I've only had a few chats with Angelus so far, but we've sort of on the fringes been in conversation. Then there's other ones around the world, all over the place, including, there's not all that many local that I've got that push me to excel. It's mostly international. There is a massive cosplay scene in Australia. It's quite huge, but there's not a very big Warhammer cosplay scene. It's getting bigger. Don't get me wrong; it's getting bigger. But there's actually one person that does. I push him and he pushes me. Is Luke Hill. Luke Hill.
Is he your other Space Marine?
No, Zerebrin cosplay.
Okay.
His work is honestly second to none. He makes me look like an absolute noob with my work. His laser techniques and everything for etching and cutting and all the rest of it are just insane. So he's really excelled quite well. But his crafting is just beautiful. So is all his finishes and everything like that. And his electronics and the list goes on. So
Thing is, I
I'm
feel
always
like
pushing.
that about you, like with your foam work and laser work in the background there. Like that's how I feel about you. So I look. Everyone looks up to each other. It's not like this. It's not like that. It's just a line
No,
where everyone just
it's
looks
yeah,
at each
it's
other.
everyone
And
sort of just,
it's
and
nice.
then we just push each other to get done. It's kind of like, come on, you lazy bastard, get off your ass, get that thing finished.
Hey, do me a favor,
And,
everyone in chat. Tell Ranger of Creed Cosplay he needs to do his Iron Guardsman. He needs to get that damn thing done. He needs to get that damn.
Yes,
thing
get your
done.
Iron Guardsman done.
Get your Iron Guardsman done. So, for those of you who don't know, Ranger of Creed Cosplay is doing a heretical Iron Guardsman, so that when me and him go to conventions together, we can sort of match and sort of be together as instead, because you wouldn't have a Krieg walking around with an Iron Warrior, a heretical Iron Warrior, because they would kill each other. But leave me alone, damn it. But he's
No,
such
Harry.
a legend that he was like, to make it work, let's I'm gonna make a cosplay so I can walk around with you so I don't stick out like a sore thumb, in the Warhammer community, that is. But what's even better is I'm now doing a Krieg myself. I'm doing a deathcore of Krieg myself. Harry will probably go as his commissar so he can, yell at me and boss me around and tell me to go die for the Emperor. So that's going to be really fun. Do you know what? He is my cosplay husband. There's no way around it.
He's your cosplay husband.
My cosplay husband.
Your con husband. Yep.
He's my cosplay husband.
All right. So next question.
I'll ask you this next question, but Desi Dragonheart has asked. Hold on, where is it? I think it was in caps. Show me your plasma gun. So I'll get that sorted while you answer this question, which is sorry if anyone can.
No,
hear the
I'm not.
rain.
I'm not showing you my plasma gun because again, I haven't finished it. I've been working on other stuff.
Well, mine doesn't look like a plasma gun. Mine just is a plasma gun, but it's not Warhammer related.
Mine's still sitting under a pile of foam in the same
started,
condition
so
it was.
If anyone is wondering what the loud noise is, it's the rain. If anyone can hear it. So the question is,
can't hear anything.
how did you get into Warhammer, and what drew you to Iron Warriors specifically? That was a question more towards me, but I think I can ask you the same, which is, how did you get into Warhammer, and what drew you to your first chapter specifically?
People don't like hearing this because it's like, what drew me to Warhammer? Well, it was cosplay for starters. It wasn't Warhammer. Warhammer was purely and simply for the fact they had big armor that I didn't have to be in spandex level shape to wear. And I bit off more than I could chew by deciding to do a Space Marine as my very first cosplay costume. Now, why did I pick Angels of Vengeance? Because they were black and they had skulls. And that was it. Had nothing else to do with anything. It was like, I like black, I like skulls. It worked. I was scrolling down through all the chapters on the internet, looking at different color schemes, saw them and went, I like them. And that was it.
Literally, like, I like them, I'll have them, and just do that.
I'll have them. And that was it. That was all. That was it. And so then it rolled out, and then obviously, a few of you have seen Guardsman on YouTube.
Hell yeah.
Now we've taken now Angels of Vengeance chapter has actually taken a bit of a front seat, and gotten a little bit more traction around the world. People are quite enjoying the Angels of Vengeance thing. But things like the two different armors that I first created, because a friend of mine, John, was supposed to be building one with me, but he had too many work commitments and could only afford maybe one Friday every fortnight. So that didn't work for him. So he threw me a little bit of extra cash and said, "Can you finish mine for me?" And I said, "Yeah, sure." So we rattled it out, but the paintwork on mine is all gold trim. The paintwork on his is all silver trim. To show different rankings. Now that isn't
like different rankings.
But that doesn't exist in Warhammer. It has nothing to
No, the different ranks do literally the armor changes a lot for different ranks.
Exactly, and so because we didn't know any of this, and I was too busy building to be researching lore. And we just built it as was. So there's a lot of inconsistencies in that armor, massive amounts of inconsistencies. Which have now been, a lot of them have been adopted as the norm because of the hype around that costume.
Well, I mean, honestly, the costume itself is like absolutely badass. I think Well, I think what I love the most about that entire suit is, I watched that video of you in your back garden, walking for the first time with your with your friends and everyone talking to you. I watched that video. I was an Iron Warrior still then. I was walking around doing cons and stuff then when I was watching that video, and I was like, "That's cool. That's pretty badass. I love that suit." It was like, "Oh, he's walking on grass. That's really risky, and on stilts and stuff." I was watching that. Those were my thoughts. I was like, "That's really cool." Never thought I'd be like literally sat here in my workshop doing a live stream with you. And like, oh wait, you're that guy from the video I watched years ago. It's just like, okay. Well, it feels like years ago, but I'm not sure. Hey, I'm being hosted again. That's so cool. I'm not sure how to say that name, but thank you so much for hosting. I really, really appreciate that. This is great. This is for my first stream. I'm absolutely blown away. Let me just button up my jacket. I'm absolutely blown away. This is brilliant.
So, by the way, guys,
I don't have a thing for
Iron Warrior Cosplay and I, we kind of talk on such a regular basis that it's really difficult to have things to talk about because we've talked about everything, and we do bounce a lot of ideas off each other and work together on a lot of bits and pieces. So I got him into lasers as well. So yeah, okay. Moving on.
It's Zora Cosplay. Yay! Love you. Thank you so much. It's just the coolest. Okay. Sorry. I just like fellow cosplay friends and buddies and everyone comes out and it's just the coolest thing. I love it. Let's see. Oh, right. Have y'all ever worked with Pepakura? Yep, that's literally all I worked with up until I got my laser. I still do Pepakura stuff now. I use Armorsmith now like Terry does. I still use Pepakura. I use Armorsmith itself. It all depends on what I need. I also use Lightburn and Inkscape and stuff like that to do all my laser stuff. Thanks to Terry for actually buying me a copy of Armorsmith just randomly as a gift and just sent that to me, which is amazing. So once I get my PC back up and running, I'm going to be installing the update for that. And I'm really excited. Right now, though, the laser's actually running right now. I'm cutting out letters for a pub sign for my friend David Roth, Exeter Cosplay. You guys know him. I've mentioned him a billion times. I love him. Facebook, Exeter Cosplay, and he is just the best. He's a big corn berserker space marine with a giant axe, and he's built a pub in his back garden.
Oh, nice.
So, you know.
So,
why wasting hours with programming if you can just freehand your patterns? Because I'm not very good at freehanding patterns. I'm terrible at freehanding.
Well, hang on. Let's address that because Pepakura is fantastic, and also Armorsmith, etc. All these programs are brilliant for getting your base pattern done. So, and getting your proportions and everything right. Now, the problem is with Pepakura, very difficult to get your proportions done. That's why Randy Kavanagh over in the States, over in Canada, oh my God, I said States, over in Canada, has actually written Armorsmith Designer, which gives you a mannequin on the screen that you can put all your own measurements in, and then you can size the armor appropriately piece by piece. And it takes PEP files and all the rest of it. So makes it so much simpler and easier to work with. Now, if you can get your armor to the right size, you don't need all the details and trims and bits and pieces. You just freehand all that crap. But the actual, like for instance, the Terminator behind me, he's all in proportion because, I started by actually ripping the models out of Space Hulk Deathwing.
And if there are any Games Workshop executives listening right now, you didn't hear that.
You didn't hear that at all. I extracted the asset.
Yes, the asset.
So I extracted the asset from the game, broke it down because it's just one great big model. So I spent ages in Blender trimming it out, trimming out the shoulders, the chest, the bits and pieces, simplifying the pieces. Then I took them into Armorsmith, sized them up appropriately, and then made a single base pattern for that. Like the chest is one pattern piece, the shoulders are one pattern piece, and so on. So, I don't use all the extra trim and bits. I just make that shit up as I go.
Yeah, that's always a good way of doing it.
But as long as you can get the size and the proportions done right, that's what counts with a costume. God. The rest is fluff.
Yeah, it always is in Warhammer. So my answer to how did you get into Warhammer and what drew you to the Iron Warriors specifically What got me into Warhammer originally was my friend Tom Goodridge gave me an entire box of Chaos Space Marines, half built, some randomly modified, like 2 Bane Blades, and just gave it all. He was like, I don't want it, I don't play anymore, it doesn't interest me, have it all. So I had an entire Chaos Army that I then painted up and played with, and I loved it. And then I bought a Reaver Titan from a guy who didn't want his, and then I bought a second Reaver Titan, and then a third Reaver Titan. So I've got 3 Reaver Titans. I had a huge Chaos Army. A guy messaged me being like, I really like your Chaos Army, I have this, and messaged me a whole army of the same amount of points of Skitarii and Mechanicus with a bunch of big walkie stompy boys. So I did a swap over with him. I took the entire Mechanicus army and gave him my entire Space Marine Chaos Army. And then I bought 4 Imperial Knights, built those, detailed those, based those, they're all done. So I have an entire Mechanicus Skitarii army with a bunch of big walkers and stuff. And I have a lot of people telling me, like, I never put you down for that kind of thing. It was like, well, I would have done Iron Warriors, but at the time, well, I say at the time, even now, they're so expensive. They're so expensive. I was just like, I just can't afford, like, that entire Iron Warrior army, especially from Forge World. Like, holy crap. So what I did instead was... when it came to me bumping into David Roth when he was in his Corn Berserker at a Comic-Con in Cardiff, that's when I wanted to sort of get like deeper into cosplay, because I was already doing steampunk, and then I was my Ghostbuster. And then I finally took the plunge with David Roth and made a Space Marine. But all I did Space Marine-wise was I knew it was going to be Chaos, but I just had a blank canvas to work on, and that was it. And I had no idea what to do. When I got home, and I realized I can finally get an Iron Warrior, but instead a big one. So yeah, that's how it happened. I played tabletop for ages. I still kind of do ish now. We haven't played for a while. We do 1 or 2 big Apocalypse games every year. We haven't done any this year or last year, sadly. But we do a whole 3-day event where it's 3 or 4 of us, and each turn for each army in this Apocalypse game can take up to like 5 hours per turn. It's the best. Like, it is the best. So, that's the kind of thing. I can't afford an Iron Warrior.
14 years later, the game's over.
One big Iron Warrior. The Iron Warrior, the actual Iron Warrior itself didn't actually cost me that much at the beginning, but I prefer big rather than little if I can. So,
cumulative cost of building a large costume is considerably high, especially when you don't exactly know what you're doing, if you haven't got a good plan and structure and understanding. So you could do, you can blow thousands and thousands on it. And you can do it. You can build parts and then go, shit, that's not right, I have to redo that, like I did with the Terminator.
I mean, that is just like the Terminator is just, it's unreal. It just...
He's a freaking monster.
Honestly. Right. Question 8. Right. This one was kind of funny, and I had to actually message him and ask him. I was like, wait, what? He said, can we raid one day, Son of Iron? And I was just like, message him like, raid what? Like, what does he like? What kind of raid does he want to do? And he was just like, we'll raid a planet together. And I'm like, oh yeah, sure, let's fucking do it. The Iron Warriors, let's raid a planet together. That was just a fun question. I think we've already answered this next question, but might as well ask it and answer it again. Do you prefer painting minis or full-size costumes? And that's from David Roth himself. That's from Exeter Cosplay, my boy.
So I don't have minis. So I prefer 1-to-1 scale. But yeah, it's I get asked that a lot. It's like, do you prefer to paint minis? And I'm like, I don't have any minis. I've never. I admire mini painters because they can sit there and
yep.
with these tiny little one-hand brushes, putting details and crap on, and I'm like, and most of these guys do it without a microscope, which I'd need.
Yeah, I would need a magnifying glass of sorts to do it, because I with my previous Chaos Army, I've had to do that. But with my Mechanicus Army, luckily, a friend of mine, Mike, who actually runs a Games Workshop in Carmarthen, was just like, hey, I'll paint them for you if you want. And I'm like, here, have them. I've got a huge space marine I need to paint now. So I prefer painting stuff of like this scale, So it's like, it's big enough that you can see it on camera without having to zoom in.
Yeah. I mean,
easier. Props are just
I guess
better.
it comes down to also, on a big costume, you don't have to be as fine detailed and fiddly. So you can kind of screw up a little bit. I mean, I base coat with a brush and a roller. And then from there, I'll, for all of my weathering and stuff, I'll be using just a kitchen sponge dipped in paint and squeezed out.
Oh yeah, I've got a bunch of sponge rollers and stuff too that I've invested in.
Yep, and then I'll pick the airbrush up and do all my touch ups and bits and pieces with an airbrush, and I could probably do it with a bloody spray can. So my airbrushing skills are ordinary at best, but when you're talking about on a large costume, it's a lot easier. You don't see the mistakes.
I'm going to be learning with my airbrush soon. That's going to be something I'm going to have to learn big time. I'm excited to do it, but I'm also scared because I don't want to do like any damage. Before we continue, before we get onto the second sheet of questions, there's only a few more left. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's only 5 more questions. I thought I would just demo this for you guys, which you've seen in a few videos. Actually, do you know what? I will turn my... I'll do this. I'll turn my light off for you guys as well. See if this works.
Ooh, party.
Ooh, big bang. I'll do one more with the light on so you guys can see. It's the best and it makes a big bang.
There you go.
Oh, yes, that's the way.
So that's beside my head, like I'll be wearing it. So it's quite large.
It is a chunky helmet. I'm not gonna lie, mine isn't exactly small. Like they are kind of obviously not as big as your Terminator, but they are kind of. It is kind of.
But as you can see, some of the airbrush techniques and stuff like that are very, very mottly and kind of, you don't have to be as fine tuned as you are with a mini.
Not when it's something that big, no. Me, mostly, I dry brush most of this, like all the rust parts and stuff. I try to dry brush it mostly. Like, for example, I might as well show you guys, like, this is all hand-weathered. There's no airbrushing on this. This is all hand-weathered. I love my chainsword. I did that side as well. That's always a good laugh. I do love my chainsword with the big spiky point at the end. It's a good thing.
It is pretty. I mean, my chainsword.
I'm really
most of my props are actually down at Bris Vegas Comics now, so they've got them hanging on the walls and all sorts of stuff.
I'd love to take mine to Flamer next. Hopefully I've got a Flamer planned. I've got a bunch of stuff planned. I've got too much planned, I think.
I mean, I moved away from doing a lot of little props and bits and pieces because obviously this Primaris Aggressor project is massive because I want to get the detail right. I mean, he's got twin assault cannons and little baby power fists and stuff. So
we have been blessed by Korn himself. David Roth, Exeter Cosplay, is in the chat. Dip it in Null Oil. It's just like,
dip it in Null Oil.
Hey David,
how much Null Oil do you want?
By the way, David, your letters are still cutting out. Like right now, they're still cutting out. I'm going over them again. It's just
okay. Lynette Cosplay just asked if the lights in the helmet actually have a circuit board, etc. No, they don't. So all it is LEDs in the lights. LEDs in the lights. LEDs in the eyes, with appropriate resistors, etc. To keep it down. That runs back. They're all 5 volt, so that just runs back to a switch. And I've got 2 switches inside the helmet, so click on, click off switches. And then that plugs into a phone recharger battery. So most of my stuff is powered by 5 volt and different millivolt ratings of phone recharger batteries because they're cheap, they're available, they're easy, and you can generally fit that sort of stuff inside the helmet without a problem. So I normally use a 10,000 milliamp one for the Terminator helmet. and that'll last around about 2 days of constant
Nice.
running. So with fans and lights.
I'm a bit less posh. I use 9-volt batteries. 9-volt batteries. They work. Holy crap, they are the best. I've got the same 9-volt battery me and Harry have used for like the past 30 conventions, and we're still using it because it just hasn't died. It's just running little LEDs, and it's the best.
But it just comes down to what you want to budget to. I mean, you can get really creative and use Arduino,
9 volts.
little computers and bits and pieces, and you can really go to town on your techniques of lighting stuff up. But again, you also got to look at, is it what it's supposed to be, or are you just adding extra flash? And so, especially with Warhammer, the good thing about it is it doesn't necessarily have a great deal of flash and circumstance until you get to like plasma weapons and stuff.
Oh yeah, when you go for the big stuff, yeah.
So if I
David has,
Dragonheart's going to hate me for this because I haven't done anything on this apart from what's here. But give me a moment to find a battery.
You find a battery. I will tell the chat about what David just said. One time David was walking in his big corn berserker. I'm probably going to get the story wrong, but I'll try my best. I'll just give you the gist of it, which is David was in his Space Marine walking along, and he had a little computer fan in the back of his helmet, blowing cool air on him with powered by a 9-volt battery. At least I think it was a 9-volt, and it caught fire. And it caught fire so badly, someone ran up to him, took his helmet off him, and just ripped the electronics out of it. So he doesn't have fans anymore, but what he does have in the back of his helmet is just a fan now that just stays. It doesn't do anything. It's just part of the helmet now. So, hey,
so
nice. Nice. Look at that. Ooh.
So it looks like it's complicated, but it's actually not. The beauty about this setup is obviously I've used UV LEDs inside here. So just an LED bar that I got off eBay. So nothing complicated. I've covered this with a UV resin. And then I've got a very, very simple, like $2 off eBay, LED controller, which you just solder into place. And that attaches up to a 5-volt battery pack. I use a different 5-volt battery pack that actually slots up inside here, but this is the only one I had sitting around. And so, yeah, and then an on-off switch at the back, and you don't have to get complicated with lots of, Arduinos and programming and bits and pieces. You can get away with doing things simpler. And, yeah, you can just save yourself a lot of trouble. Or if you want to challenge yourself, you can step into the programming world and you can do all of that sort of stuff. I'm still learning.
Thank you for coming. Have a good one.
How to use foam and stuff as well. So it's a constant. It's a constant learning curve. I mean, things like glues and stuff like that. Very, very shortly, I will have cosplay glue available, but unfortunately, it's only going to be available in Australia because I can't internationally ship it. So, and that is.
I'm sure there's plenty of people here who would love to buy your cosplay glue. Look at that.
Oh, yeah. Well, the good thing is, as you can see...
It's super liquidy.
It's super liquidy, which means it can be sprayed as well if you need to. It's got a 90-second... It's a contact cement. It's got a 90-second tack time. And then once it sticks together, good luck in getting it apart.
And that's only available...
Okay, let's moving on.
That's only available in Australia land. The land down under. Question we have here now is, this is more geared towards me as well, but still, why do you like Iron Warriors? Why do you like cosplay? Hey, thank you for the follow. Really appreciate that. Why do you like Iron Warriors and why do you like cosplay? Why do I like Iron Warriors? Because they're amazing. They're siege experts. I've read so many books about them, listened to audiobooks. I've properly fallen in love with them as an army and the way they do things. Also, they love trenches. They aren't actually just trenches, but
iron within, iron without.
I have a shovel, thanks to Ranger of Creek Cosplay, and we're shovel buddies because Hey!
and without.
Thank you for literally. Thanks to everyone following. I need to sort that out where I can actually see when people are following me because I can't see anyone following. So I'm like, thank you.
So Zombie Soup has just asked, is barge available in these areas? And unfortunately, we don't get barge in Australia.
Yeah, we don't
I've heard
get
it's
barge
a
in the
really
UK either. It's stupid.
so. But you know, generally we do get plenty of different glues and contact cements. But because I've got a product building and prototyping background, I decided to go the industrial route and looked for my foam in industrial suppliers and etc. And the glue that they use for gluing EVA foam together is, again, it's industrial grade contact cement that's sprayable and also brushable, etc. So it's very, very good stuff. It's not cheap, but it's very good stuff. And in my opinion, it's probably, you know, again, I haven't used barge, but I've seen a lot of videos where barge is being used, and it takes quite a long time for barge to tack up, just like it does with a lot of standard contact cements. The bonus of this one is it's got literally a 90-second tack time. So you put it on one side, put it on the other side, you know, pretty much count to 30 after you've done that slowly, and then stick it together.
Bye, Mod Hale. Thank you for coming. Yes, sleep is absolutely necessary. Sleep is absolutely necessary.
So, okay, let's moving on with questions.
Hello to everyone who's just joined the chat. Really appreciate you guys coming along. Next question.
Hang on. Angelus, yes, you can make a lot of contact cements. You can water down with acetone or thinners. Again, it does weaken the structure of the glue when you do it, so you got to be careful of that. If your glue is hardening up in the bottle or container, you can add some acetone or thinners to soften it back up. But I found it also does weaken the structure of the glue when you do that, which is really annoying. And that's why I hunted around and I actually found these beautiful little screw top containers. So that's, you know, this stays liquid. Now I've had to test one here for the last 3 weeks. And the glue is perfectly still liquid and all that sort of stuff. And I actually use this one, so when I'm gluing stuff together.
Not to, obviously, because your stuff isn't available ever. It'll only be available in Australia.
No, of course.
So I thought I'd just mention to people stuff that is available. I go to cosplayshop.be. I use this stuff. Sorry for the poor lighting, but it's cosplayshop.be. I use this, and again, this is as liquidy as Terry's stuff, and I put it into a really cheap sauce bottle that I bought. I just tip this into this, and then I use this. Sometimes I use it straight from the tin with like a stick or something. But this stuff is super liquidy. For the boarding shield I wish I had this stuff, because I could just tip this out onto it and then spread it out with an old paintbrush. Would have been amazing. But cosplayshop.be, people in the chat are loving it, because cosplayshop.be I absolutely love. I bought 2 tins of this.
Mortis. sounds like Mortis is from Australia. Mortis, the sticker contact cement that you get from Bunnings is absolute trash. Now I say that because I spoke to the chemist that makes it down in Melbourne. He makes the sticker contact cement as well as several other different levels and grades of glues, like about 200 different glues. But he said that they make sticker contact cement on budget, so they make it as cheap as they possibly can. And it does have a massive tack time. It's ridiculous. Now, this stuff here it's made by is it made by the same company? No, this one's actually slightly different. It's made from a different company, but it's the same type of stuff that's made by that same company that makes sticker, but they're industrial grade contact cement, fast setting. So, and it stays very, very flexible afterwards, so it's really good.
Have you seen or heard about people watering down contact cement and using it as a primer? I've only recently found out that people are watering it down with water and mixing it up and then just painting on. I think it's amazing. I'm gonna have to try that out.
Well, not contact cement. I've seen people do it with PVA glue.
Oh, so yeah, PVA
your wood glue. Yeah.
One guy actually tips a bunch of contact cement into a tub, waters it down, mixes it up, and then paints it on as a primer. It's insane.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I mean, I just use house paint. It comes self-primed.
Super crazy, but yeah, same here. Well, actually, here we go. Anyone who's on my cosplay page will know what's about to come.
10-year roof seal.
Thompson's 10-year roof sealer. Who the hell doesn't use Thompson's 10-year roof sealer? Thompson's 10-year roof sealer comes in a giant tin, and it is the best stuff
Hang on a second.
in the world. Thompson's 10-year roof sealer. Honest to God to you, if there's anything you guys want primed, it is Thompson's 10-year roof sealer. It is the dog's bollocks. I love the stuff. I haven't used anything that good.
And
in my
if you're
life.
in Australia,
Oh yeah, and if you're in Australia, there's something else you can get, which is
Cabot's all-weather deck and exterior paint comes self-primed and nice and thick. Brush it on, roller it, and you're done.
I just want to
Don't need to even seal your foam.
I just want to show everyone as well. I'll hide that for a second because you're gonna love this. Who the hell doesn't use Thompson area? Anyone who can't get it because it's not sold in Germany. Sorry, I didn't know it wasn't sold in Germany. I tell you this though, right? This is the funniest thing. People laugh at this when I tell them, and I don't tell this like often to anyone. I roof sealed my entire Space Marine, and my plan was to plasti dip it. And then I saw how much plasti dip costs back in the day, and I was like, ha, no. And then I was going to spray paint it with just your regular everyday black spray paint that I get from Trago Mills. And I was like, even that was too expensive. But for £4, because it was the wrong colour, a farmer friend of mine who lives down the road gave me black tractor paint. And that's what my entire Space Marine is painted in as a base layer is tractor paint. It is the best stuff.
You can't argue with tractor paint,
Honest to
seriously.
God, this stuff is so thick, it goes on in one layer, and it is the best. I love that stuff. I haven't used it in a long time. I think it might have dried out by now, but that entire Space Marine is painted with black tractor paint.
Oh, come on. Tractor paint's going to last forever.
Oh, hell yeah. With roof sealer underneath it, come on. So this question is based towards aimed towards both of us, I guess, because they obviously I put that we're both on the stream, and it is, how are you so good at cosplay? ?
There's no such thing as being good at cosplay.
thick tractor paint. Thick.
So thick tractor paint. No, it comes down to when you start building for the very first time, when you first go, I want to make a costume, you got no freaking idea where to start. You know what I mean? And so you reach out to cosplay groups, you reach out to, other cosplayers, and you start checking out, you start accumulating information. You start looking at cosplay costumes, and then you track back who's actually made that, and then you try and contact them and pick their brains, and and then YouTube is kind of like king. You start watching so many YouTube videos, you go cross-eyed, and you try and stumble through as best as you can. Always try and find a local supplier of EVA foam. Now, I didn't even know what EVA foam was. I was just like, I need stuff that's harder than mattress foam.
Just use floor matting at the beginning is what I used.
Well, I didn't even know about floor matting. So I went to an industrial supplier of foam. I ended up going through 3 different companies just trying to find this magic stuff called EVA foam that I'd seen written on a forum somewhere. And so I didn't know about grades and qualities and densities and surface finishes and all sorts of stuff. So that was a very, very big learning curve that I had in a very short period of time when I went to PJ Bowers, who's an industrial supplier for EVA foam for building sites. And so
sites. I love that.
I originally made my my Space Marine with EVA 75 10 mil, which is it's got reasonably good structure, but it's quite spongy as well. So you can bounce off it easily. Whereas the Terminator's made with EVA 220, which is a hell of a lot harder and almost like board. But it shapes, and once you've got it shaped well, it'll stay nice and solid. But it doesn't bend too well either. So yeah, you go through these different stages of learning where you just got to pull the plug and dive in and just hope for the best. The first time I put a knife to foam, it was, my heart's going. I'd cut a couple of test pieces and stuff like that, but I'd sit there and got the white pen and drew out on the black EVA foam and traced around the pattern. And the first time I put the knife down to actually cut that first piece, I was going, fuck, this is going to get expensive.
Yeah, it's
Because I'm going to
literally.
screw this up. Excuse my French, but I was going to screw that up. It was like, but
Um,
no, I mean, I managed to get it. And that's when I started learning about how to sharpen knives, how to, use different blade types. So now I use what is it? Tungsten carbide blade on my knife, and I got a couple of different grades of knives as for different thicknesses, etc., for cutting different things. Plus, I got a laser to do all the really really cool stuff.
Fucking
But I don't like. I
lasers.
still cut all my large parts and everything out. Anything I'm going to be gluing together, I cut out by hand because the laser does burn the edge,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
the glue never sticks properly because the EVA contains a little bit of oil in its construction, and that oil does kind of come to the surface a bit when you burn it. Um, it's only a very very small amount, but it's enough to make the glue not stick properly.
Yeah.
So I'd have to sand that off. But I found it's just as easy to pattern it out, draw it out. Thanks very much for coming and cut it out with a knife.
Well, in answer to that one for me, mostly is how are you so good at cosplay? Practice, I guess. I wouldn't say I'm that good at it. I do what I do. Like, I am at the level I'm at. It doesn't matter what you do. There's always going to be someone who's better than you. But the way I see it is I'm happy at the level that I'm at right now, and I feel like I get a little bit better. Like, every time I build something, I get a little bit better, bit by bit. But when you were saying, like, you bought foam and you took, like, knife to foam for the first time, we were at a convention in Play Expo Manchester, at a convention called Play Expo Manchester with David Roth and my friend Marcus. We built my frame and everything in 2 days. We spent a weekend at a convention live showing everyone how it's done. And it was the best. We were just carving out foam and just gluing it together and just screaming. It was the best weekend of my life. And boom, I've got a Space Marine out of it. Obviously, I've upgraded the suit since then, and I've done a bunch to it since and painted it and whatever. But like, I still go back and look at that picture of it just sat on the table, stood up on the table with its like slumped over like that, and just me, David, and Marcus just stood there, arms around each other, like, "Hey, we did this in a weekend." And the amount of people who are just like, "You built it in a weekend?" And like, yeah, but it was so rough. But I really don't care. It was the best thing I've ever built in my entire life, and I'm proud of it, and I love that suit. That suit is my baby. And that's why I keep upgrading it and making a big arsenal of weapons for it and everything, and just get it to like, live forever if I can. I've upgraded the feet recently. I love the wellies I've just put in, so that's going to make things like 10 times better for Harry when it comes to getting me in the suit. So I've upgraded things like that, the shoulder joints, I've done that, I've added LEDs, I've added this, added that, changed the knees, added tubes, I've done a bunch of stuff. And so I think, I'm not going to say like, how are you so good at cosplay? I'm just going to say I'm as good as I am thanks to my friends, because if it wasn't for David Roth and Dave Damon taking a million phone calls from me being like, how do I do this bit? Like that? Okay. Phone down, do the thing, phone them back. Okay, it's done, I've did it, thanks. It wasn't just constantly during the time I was building my Space Marine, and just, it's nice that I can do something back for them. So I would try my best to help David when it came to spotting for him at conventions and doing repairs, anything he needs, that kind of stuff. Right now I'm laser cutting letters for his pub. That's always fun. Things like that. So, but yeah, that's you're as good as you are, and there's always like space for improvement. There's always space for improvement. Get my foam clay from Polyprops. Oh yeah, there's Polyprops. Yeah, I've never really bought anything from Polyprops myself. I tend to go for a company called Polymar in Scotland. They send you your foam in a completely flat sheet. They send it to you in a huge flat 2 meter by 1 meter big package, and it's perfect for laser cutting. You just put it on the floor, cut it, measure it, mark a meter, and then just go, and then just pop it in the laser, and it's done. And that's what I'm doing now, and I do that with every 10 mil sheet I get. And they can do custom thicknesses for you. I've got a 3 mil, which is so handy for like detailing, because 2 mil I find is a bit too stretchy and thin. Oh, got a question. Oh, good. I was hoping to catch this. Right. What exactly do you use tungsten staining roofs for? Just priming for sealing and strengthening. So yeah, with roof sealer, what you do is you make your piece. So for example, you make your piece, you make the helmet, and it's just plain foam. You get a heat gun and you heat it so all the cells close, so all the cells go from open to closed. What you do with roof sealer then, because it's technically like a rubber, when you paint it on nice and thick, it becomes waterproof, turns to rubber so it flexes, and completely fills in all the little holes and everything on the foam. What I then do with roof sealer is once it's painted on, I take a roller to it. I use a little sponge roller like this, which gets rid of all the brush lines in it and just makes it smooth. What's also really good about this stuff is if you have the tiniest little sort of open gap, like just a little open gap, just get roof sealer, a nice dollop of it on your brush and just run it over the edge and it fills it and smooths it over. It is the best stuff. I absolutely love it. The results I get are pretty smooth. Like, you know, the paint is really smooth and it's also really flexible. Like, it's super flexible. What I love about it the most is it doesn't stink. Like, I've used spray-based, like, sealers and stuff, but it's just not for me. Like, what's that one that everyone uses called Plasti Dip? I feel that it really stinks, especially if you're using it for helmets. So I use roof sealer. It doesn't smell at all. So yeah, tungsten staining roof sealer I use normally for sealing and technically waterproofing because I've never taken my suit out in the rain, but the roof sealer would probably work in regards to...
Yeah, the house paint works just as well in Australia. Lynette Cosplay has asked about foam clay. Have we used it? And yes, I have made a full helmet faceplate out of it and everything. Obviously, you know, I made the skull face first, created a mold, all that sort of stuff, pressed the foam clay into it, and then let it set for a bit and then popped it out. I found the easiest way to use foam clay is to not let it dry completely because it becomes quite brittle. So after about the third or fourth day, when it's got some good solidity to it but still feels like EVA foam, that's when you seal it and paint it so that it doesn't keep drying out. Because if it keeps drying out, it will actually get brittle.
How are you guys not sponsored yet? Honestly, I want roofs. If Thompson's 10-year roof sealer would sponsor me, I would be the happiest man ever. It would be the best. Oh, have a good night, Angelus. Have a good night. Oh, thanks for coming. Really appreciate your questions and stuff. Really appreciate it. Thank
all right,
you so
we better burn through these questions because a lot of people over, especially in the UK, it's getting on close to midnight.
It's 10:23 right now, but we have two questions left. But what I was going to do is you were talking about foam clay. This is a skull that's cast from hot glue that I did, and then that one is a foam clay one that I then sprayed black. So I make the same skulls from foam clay as much as the hot glue, but I find hot glue ones are much more sturdy because they're hot glue. They also come out of the mold easier than the other ones.
Yeah,
do.
I mean, foam clay is beautiful stuff to use when you're using it in a molding environment. As far as hand sculpting it, I've never had any love for that sort of thing. Plus, I mean, I don't use thermoplastics and all that sort of stuff either. I've got some, but I just don't use it because, well, I don't know. It's just I'm not really an artist or a sculptor or anything like that, so it makes it hard to do that sort of stuff myself. But again, with the foam clay, I've heard that if you use like water to help smooth it out, it works really, really well.
Yeah,
so a wet finger or wet your sculpting tools. But yeah, it can be a very, very useful stuff to work with. But again, I found that if you leave it dry too long, it will get brittle.
UK Mill. Oh yeah, David did. He has a concrete skull that he has as a doorstop. And what he does is he cuts a milk bottle, opens up, and because they're thermoplastic, he heats up with a heat gun and smushes it onto the skull, and it actually makes the form of the skull. And he has it on his Terminator knees, and it's
nice.
It's the best. Like David's
That's
really
a beautiful, cheap way of doing it. I mean,
David's insane at like doing stuff like that. He has made stuff like the stuff he makes, and I'm just like, how do you just come up with that? Like, We have.
But I mean, look, the idea is you don't necessarily have to stick with your everyday materials. Use whatever you have available. Find recycle the living hell out of stuff. My main goal when I'm making a cosplay costume is to keep it as light and as comfortable as possible. So if I have to, like, I try to avoid using timber or anything like that. I'll rather use aluminium strips for reinforcing and things, or ABS plastic for bases, because it's considerably lighter and more durable, over time.
I feel aluminium is probably the way to go for me because I've done my shoulders in aluminium. I'm going to do the same with the Grey Knight as well. I'm going to do aluminium inside.
But the idea is to obviously keep it as light as possible.
Question 13 that we have, which is 2 questions left. Question 13 is actually from my old manager at a company I used to work in a couple of years ago in Carmarthen. Did you find you were instantly good at cosplay stuff, or did it gradually improve after years of doing it? For me, yes, exactly the same. I wasn't good immediately. I started off meh, and then got to the point where I am now, which I'm very happy with.
Nobody is instantly good at it. You can be instantly good at one or more things, but there's so many facets to building cosplay. You've got your foam work is only one. Then there's all your sewing. There's your in costume making alone. There's so many different things. Casting and molding. There's painting. There's the list goes on. There's so much or so many different modalities involved in cosplay. So to be good at all of them is really, really difficult. And that's where a lot of these international contests come in, is because they gauge you on how many different things you can be good at. And a lot of the cosplay contests, they'll look at your foam work, they'll look at your sewing, they'll look at your electronics, they'll look at your paint. There'll be a laundry list down. And if your costume doesn't contain all those elements, then obviously you get a 0 mark on those things. But can you be good at all of them at the same time? It's possible, but it takes a lot of work and a lot of practice. And hell, I mean, I've been doing this 2.5 years now.
Yeah, I think it's about
it'd be about
years.
that. And I was not good at all. I mean, literally, I have no idea what the hell I was doing. I just threw myself into it and went, fuck it. If I'm going to destroy it, so be it. I've committed to this project. I may as well do the best I can. I've thrown away parts. I've made something and looked at it and gone, oh God, yeah. Next.
Hold on.
And rethought it and did it again. Uh-oh.
It's okay.
He's disappeared.
I'm coming back. So, after failing at making something, and then you realize you've got a bunch of scrap foam left and you could do something out of it, that's a saxophone, right? And do you want to know what this was meant to be? If you look at it, what does it look like, Terry, to you?
An arm?
It's a Space Marine arm. That's the elbow. This is the thing. It literally, what it was, I was making an arm for the Power Fist, and the first one I made, I thought I'd measured it properly, and I didn't, and it was about to go to waste, and I got so frustrated, and I was like, oh God, I wasted that foam. Wait a minute, let's make something utterly hilarious out of it, and that is one of the Chaos Stars you sent me. And it's just wrapped around. It's just wrapped around, and inside there's a
pride
strap.
of place on the sax.
There's a strap inside that I put the little speaker on, and then, but also it actually does go all the way through. So yeah, that's
so all the spit can run out the front.
Oh hell yeah! It's the iron sax, and it's the perfect noise marine prop. But yeah, that's it.
So okay, all right. Let's move on to. Actually, you've got to answer question 13.
Question 13. I did kind of answer it. No, I wasn't instantly good at it. I was terrible at it. I mean, personally, like going from something like this, just literally threw it together, and it's when you look at it up close, it's like, oh, good lord, what were you thinking? Like, thing is, you can tell what it is, and it's hefty, and you can hold it with one hand, and it doesn't break. But as for looks, it looks terrible. Hey, we're being raided with a party of 2. Thank you so much.
Weird Sister Creative.
Weird
Hey,
Sister
how you
Creative,
doing?
you absolute legend. I love that little Kermit the Frog in the corner. I've got his Kermit the Frog flailing his arms. Raid incoming! So that's absolutely awesome. But then to go from that to then, stuff like this, like for example, I made this out of the scrapped foam I had left from the chain sword. And it's just a tiny little diddly axe. It's a chain axe, and I just made it out of the scrap foam I had because I wanted to. So,
yeah, well, why not? I mean, I've got literal boxes and bags of scrap foam. You end up with so much scrap foam, it's not funny. So you've got to do something with it because... and I think I may have found a solution for all our scrap foam.
Go on.
I'm going to shred it and fill beanbags with it.
That would work really well. That would work
because then you
really
wouldn't have that crushing sound when you dove into the beanbag either. It'd be like
it would just
doing.
be soft foam.
All right. Question 14.
Our last question, and then we'll have a bit of a banter, and we can also ask the chat if they have any more questions. This one again is more towards the Iron Warrior side of things. Who would be the better leader, pre-Heresy Perturabo or Heresy 40k Perturabo? Me personally, Heresy 40k Perturabo, because Heresy. I just prefer the heretical Perturabo. He's more badass, and he doesn't give a fuck. He's cooler. Whereas
I don't even know who Perturabo is.
More detailed.
I guess one of these days I'm going to have to learn about these sort of things.
As long as it's about the Iron Warriors.
But for the moment, I'm more than happy to just, I suppose stick around my standard research protocols and just learn how things are put together and study the models themselves and forget about the chapters and just make that shit up as I go afterwards.
Hell no, Perturabo never gave a... Perturabo don't give a fuck about nobody. But no,
Hot Rod Welder has got a question in the chat.
How often do you mix mediums? For example, if the chain axe, all foam around it and the foam is leather with some leather.
Oh, look, you mix mediums constantly.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, again, you don't go out and buy all of this sort of stuff off the shelf. Half the time you're stripping milk bottles for their plastic or their lids. You're pretty much going and using old belts for leather, and you use whatever you've got on hand that you can happily destroy or repurpose.
For example, with this, the inside of it is the dowel that I had left over from the power hammer, because I didn't want it too long. I've got a smaller dowel inside it. It's a big dowel, but I've got a smaller one, and it's wrapped in 5mm and then another layer of 2mm. This is all foam. This isn't leather. This is all foam. The grip is all foam. The only thing on here that's repurposed other than the actual dowel is this old tube that just pops out. This tube just literally, it goes in there, and then the pressure holds it into the little hole, and that's it. Like, it's all foam. There's nothing on this other than this plastic tube and the actual, piece of wood inside it. That's the only thing that I was like, I looked at the small piece of wood and I was like, I can make something one-handed. What can I make? Decided to make this, use the scrap foam, and then I had this tube laying around to do that. And I don't have any more of this tube anymore, which sucks, because I really like that tube.
It's just electrical conduit.
Cosplayer equals modern... Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's like the amount of stuff
we scavenge everything. I mean, literally everything to try and make stuff. EVA foam may be a fantastic medium and a good base, and that's probably where we spend most of our money is on EVA foam and glue, and the paints. But as far as a lot of the trim and bits and pieces, we'll use whatever we can. Like standard artists, you will literally raid the back shed looking for stuff. Just to put together to get the effect or the look that you want. There's no rhyme or reason to it when it comes down to detailing.
I literally just raid my shed, which is this shed.
Your wife is getting mad at your collection of scavengers bits. Welcome to my world. My office has turned into those I've got boxes and boxes of stuff just waiting to be converted into cosplay adjacent objects and bits. I've got failed projects all over the place. I've got just stuff I found at rummage sales and even industrial bins. I've been walking along past the shops and it's like, ooh, there's a plastic container shaped thingy, some insert for a box. I could use that. It's like.
I really like Ranger Creed Cosplay when he's wearing his mask and he's got the really cool tube and it goes to the cylinder in the back on the back of his
hot chocolate tin. I know. I just read that. It is
tin.
Awesome.
That's just the coolest thing. Okay, so we've run out of paper questions. If anyone has any more questions in the chat, please let us know.
And Weird Sister Creative, recycling everything is fantastic. You can definitely do that when you're doing sewing and stuff like that. You can recycle a lot of clothing and bits and pieces. But when it comes down to EVA foam, it's very hard to recycle because it doesn't recycle.
No, it's
so considering it's totally non-biodegradable and will last for a million years, we like to turn it into armor, so at least it looks something decent.
or a saxophone.
Or a saxophone, or a shovel.
Hell yeah! Harry Ranger Creed Cosplay made me this shovel, and I thought I'd bring it into shot and just keep it behind me. He watches over me, my little power shovel. Who doesn't love a power shovel, man? Like, the day he made me that, I was so happy. But yeah, unleash the questions. Has anyone got any questions?
Oh, you use Sintra.
Oh,
okay,
Sintra,
yeah.
I've never used any
signage.
Sintra. I've not used it.
I've heard of using Sintra. I use another substance called Maxi T-board over here. Over in Australia, they call it Maxi T-board because it's used for boat flooring and it's recycled styrofoam. So it's been heavily compressed down into a board, and it makes it very, very flexible as far as. Oh, we got questions over the top of us.
Yeah, sorry. I have a bit of an issue here. It's causing some issues. There we go. Yeah, OBS is playing up. Not sure why. There we go. That's fine. One little hiccup and I'm happy. That's fine by me. Yeah, that was playing up for some reason. I'm not sure why.
It's okay. We're still streaming and I can still see it on the other screen, so it's all good. It's all good.
We are good.
So yeah, but using all sorts of recycled items it's not paramount in my in my usage of cosplay building, but it's cheaper. Why go out and buy something or pay for a particular material when you can recycle it from something else? So you do that regularly, and I don't profess to be saving the planet or anything like that. I'm just a normal cosplay builder, but recycled stuff is awesome.
I try to recycle whatever I can. Like inside the chainsword, I've got these wooden slats that I had. They were laying around, so I had them inside to strengthen it. But other than that, it's hard to recycle when it comes to foam crafting because foam is unrecyclable. So again, like
hence my idea of shredding it and turning it into beanbag filling.
Shredding it and putting it into beanbags. That would be actually absolutely amazing.
Because look, I mean, I went as far as contacting the local dumps and recycling places, etc., and asked them about EVA foam. Where can I take my cutoffs and all my off-cut material? And they said, well, it's not recyclable, so just take it to the normal tip.
Yeah.
And I said, well, and I contacted a bunch of chemical companies looking for something to break it down because I thought maybe I could find something to break down the EVA foam and turn it into a glue for EVA foam or a filler or something. No, it's a one-stop end of life material where it just doesn't turn into anything else. It's a big bunch of chemicals. But somebody was saying about technical difficulties in the stream. Right before we started this stream, the entire setup crashed.
But basically, OBS decided it didn't want to cooperate and it wouldn't actually start the stream. But then I just restarted my PC and it worked. Actually, no, my tower's actually fine. It's actually here in the workshop. It's just running there. It's currently at 42 degrees and it's just chilling there. I don't know what my GPU is at, but it's fine. But no, it's totally chilling. It's really happy. I'm very happy with how things have been going. I hope everyone's enjoyed the stream up until now. Like everything's going really well. Paint is
What
expensive.
advice would you give someone wanting to get into 40k minifigures and playing and cosplaying 40k? Minis, I have no clue. Cosplaying, join 40k cosplay, the group on Facebook, if you haven't already. So both myself, Doug Vrig, and Doug Elms are the admins for this group, and we support everybody there. I think we're over 3,000 members or something now. There's a lot of crafters in there, a lot of people building different 40k cosplays in different varying stages of finished all the way down to just barely getting started. There's so many different levels of competency as well, from people that haven't got a freaking clue like I started, all the way up to your pro cosplayers and pro builders that are in there to give you advice on how to do things. All you have to do is just post in the group and say, I'm fucking lost, I need help. But my first advice is just take a look at what you want. Like if you want a Sister of Battle or something like that, start looking at other cosplay costumes, Sisters of Battle costumes, or whatever it is. If you want Marines, if you want Guardsmen, or whatever your flavor is, go ahead and do those. Research. Get as many pictures as you can until you find that one magic picture that actually speaks to you, that you want to make that. And it mightn't be a cosplay costume. It might be an artist's impression of something, and you go, I want that, and that's where you begin. And then you can expand out from there. Get some help if you feel inadequate or unable to do to start on your own. If you don't know how to pattern it, there's plenty of people that can help you pattern. If you don't know how to obviously start working with EVA foam, there's plenty of people that can help you with that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. If on the mini side of things, if you're going to go into either one, first thing you do is obviously make sure you save up a bit of money and figure out which one you want to do first, because the cosplay side of things will cost you a bit of money, and then so will the model side of things. But I'd go for one first and then the other. I wouldn't jump straight into doing both at the same time. That's just me though, because I did start off with models, and I had models for a while, and then just sort of stopped buying them. I had plenty of money then to saved up then, so I could actually go and do the cosplay side of things, because I was already doing cosplay stuff that wasn't 40k related, but I was using a lot of money for that, so I kind of put my models to one side and was like, you guys are fun, but I'm a Ghostbuster now, and this is way more fun. So I did that. Really want to thank Dragonheart for catching me up on the questions. Got a question here from Hot Rod Welder 442. Have you sourced the tubes for your leg connections? Yes, I have. I finally managed to source a guy on eBay who sells air ducting tube. And I have this stuff ready to go for the...
Yay! Is that the stuff with the silver on the inside?
That is
it looks like it.
Silver on the inside.
Yep, that's the good stuff.
This is what I use for the Grey Knight. Well, I'll be using it for the Grey Knight. It's also what I use for my Iron Warrior as well. And this is doesn't look like a lot, but this is actually an insane amount. It is ridiculous. There's so much.
Yeah.
Here. But,
so for anyone looking for that, it's you just look up on eBay hydroponics ducting, and you'll find the black stuff.
Yeah.
So
if you look
up air conditioning ducting, you'll come up with a silver one, and that's terrible because you have to try and cover it with something.
Oh,
but
God,
yeah, basically you want the black one with the silver on the inside. There is a black one that's just straight black. I've got that as well. It's garbage. It's the same cost but very poor quality. So always get the black one with the silver on the inside. It's got a really good finish, and it's awesome. Don't forget to duct tape the top and the bottom.
Yeah, I do as well.
And generally, I'm actually working on some sort of an extra strengthening technique where I may even, and Dovering might want to do this, is get some conduit and paint it with your roof seal.
Well, this stuff?
Yep.
I don't think I've ever thought about painting it with that stuff,
because it tears. Solid. It actually tears relatively easily.
I get the length I need, and I don't know if you've done this, but I actually cut 12-inch strips of duct tape, and I've lined the insides with duct tape all the way around, all the way up, and that's how I get that's how mine have lasted so long.
Yeah,
covered in duct
but
tape on the inside.
it'll still tear, etc. So I'm actually going to be experimenting with using a rubber coating to coat the outside of it. I was thinking about using material, but I think a rubber coating on the outside would actually stop it from tearing completely. So you get a lot more wear and tear out of it. Just run an experiment.
Here, you said you've got 4-inch. These ones here are 9.5 inches. They're for the Terminator. The ones I use for the Iron Warrior are 6.5.
Iron within.
Oh, hello.
Iron
I haven't
without.
got.
Thank you so much for the follow.
Hot rod. There actually, what you've got to do is don't put in the inches. Put in actually the centimeters. So you want like 200 millimeter or 250 millimeter or 300 millimeter. So for the Terminator, his legs are 300 millimeter and his arms are 250 millimeter. On a Space Marine, his arms are 200 millimeter, and his thigh legs, as in like, the upper part that goes from the cod to the thigh, that's 250 millimeter. Whereas, and also from the knees, from the bottom of the thighs down is 200 millimeter. Yeah. So, you've got your different sizes and bits and pieces there, but always look it up on eBay on millimeters, because most people don't put it in inches, and that's why you're having trouble finding it.
This is something I've not posted yet, so I thought I'd show you guys. Again, it's a work in progress because I'm still currently doing it, but I added a Chaos Star to my knee over the Hazard Stripes.
Oh, pretty.
It's red, but I don't know if the camera's picking up very well.
Oh, it's picking up nice and red.
I've not actually posted this yet, but I put a Chaos Star on my knee there, and I've detailed it. But I've got some more stuff I need to do to that before it's like done. But yeah, I've just got a ton of props and stuff here right now, just on my floor. But yeah, hello everyone who's just doing the chat. Thank you again for all the follows. Really appreciate it. Absolutely love it. I'm not a small guy. But no, honestly, those tubes should be more than fine for you. Honestly, they are absolutely awesome. Those tubes are the best.
Oh, look, I mean, I'm not exactly a small guy either, and I've got, short, stocky legs. And I find that obviously, the 200 for the lower leg and the 250 for the upper is perfectly fine. It gives me plenty of room. If you need any bigger than that, then you can go to the 300 millimeter without a problem.
Oh, absolutely. It'd be more than easy. But
I think on a Space Marine, 300 millimeter thighs, he's gonna be a chunky, thick boy.
He's gonna be thick. Oh damn, boy, he's thick. But yeah,
all right, so
I'm quite a chunky Marine.
Where
myself,
are we up to?
Yeah, well, I'm just checking out. The chat's going crazy. I've had a bunch of followers. Like, wow, I'm really, really grateful for all the followers. Like, genuinely, wow. Like, I'm gonna have to go through and thank a bunch of people soon. And the only thing is, I need to find a way now of actually seeing when followers come up, because I thought they came up in the chat, but they don't. So that's kind of like, damn. So I'm hoping that'll do. I could either invest in a bigger monitor, so I can actually see, or but I don't have much in the way of funds right now, so I'm waiting to find out a system I can have so I can actually see when people follow me, because it's way too small on Streamlabs OBS. My 15-inch monitor is like this big, and I can barely see.
That's why you just put Twitch on your phone and you can see all the things coming up there.
I could do that, actually. That's a good idea. Hey, look, there you go. He's got his t-shirt on. Hell yeah, thanks for that. I posted your picture the other day, and I got sent more today. If you go to Stream Manager and create a dashboard, there should be a list of who followed you. Does that list update as they follow me? Because if they do, I can have it up on my phone, and I'll do it like that. And Streamlabs OBS, but you beat me to it. The only thing is, in Streamlabs OBS, even with the screen up, like as big as I can get, I can barely see it. But never mind. Anyway, I'll sort that out another time after stream. But I have properly had a good time tonight. I am really, really happy. It's 10:50 now, and I'm just over the moon. I absolutely love this. So, if anyone has any info they want to get from us, just ask away. Me and Terry are here. It's currently 7 a.m. for you now, 7:50.
Yeah, I've just opened up the blast shield, and And it's daylight outside. Ew.
Oh no. Flexible ducting there you go, that should be it. Grow well. I also get the stuff on eBay. Definitely going to need 300 for the thigh. Yeah, go for it. Have 300 for the thigh. It's been such a great, thank you both. Genuinely, I'm really happy that you guys have enjoyed the stream. I've enjoyed it. I'm really happy with how things.
I've enjoyed
gone.
it too. It's been fun.
I've really appreciated to Ranger of Creek Cosplay and Dragon Art for helping me do my test streams. With the failure, the slightly good one, and then the good one, which has made me very happy. What's your favorite prop or bit you've made? I think one of my favorite props is my power fist and my shovel.
My favorite bit I've made, the Terminator.
I think for me,
Iron within, iron without.
That's another follower. I'm just trying to figure out who people are. A faulty Clockwork Orange. That's awesome. I'm going to say these two. These two, my power hammer and my chainsword, currently, because they are like... I built a power hammer, and I built the chainsword first, then the power hammer, and then a chain axe. It was chainsword, chain axe, power hammer. And I did those in the space of 2 weeks and burnt myself out, and I got told off by Harry for burning myself out. I properly burnt myself out. It was, and he's finally here. That's Liam Dovey. Oh, hello! Hello! Oh my God, everyone's here. I'm so happy. I'm very happy. Such a happy bunny. But yeah.
All right, so we might have to wrap it up because I've actually got to go to work.
Oh damn! Yeah, you know what? I'm going to call it there. Your power fist is impressive. Well, all of it is very. Thank you so much, genuinely. I hope to get more done soon. Hopefully, when my Kriegi Boy GoFundMe goes to its goal, I'll be able to start on my Kriegi Boy. And then once my Kriegi Boy is done, I'll be starting a Mechanicus cosplay, which I've already started playing about with little bits and stuff. So
that's right, Lynette. I actually work from home, so I don't have to go physically to work.
Once he shuts his webcam off, he's like, "There we go, I'm at work."
I'm at work now.
But I'm really looking forward to doing more stuff. Both of you, so much advice for being a stream. I honest to God, I wish I had work right now, but at the moment I don't, and I'm trying to get commissions in if I can, so I can try to make some money. But genuinely, can I just say thank you to everyone who has followed, who came along, people who raided me and hosted me. I really appreciate it. And hopefully, we can do this again sometime, with more people, hopefully.
Sounds good to me.
Awesome. Right. Thank you all for coming. I'll talk to you all again
thanks,
soon.
guys. Thanks for coming. We'll see you again soon.
Bye. Bye.